Hey guys, this is Tyler here. It is a beautiful day here in November, and I'm here in Tallinn, Estonia. I want to discuss a topic with you guys. What are the holidays like for MGTOW guys, and how should I approach it with family and friends? Because unfortunately, this philosophy I think can really bother a lot of people, and it could potentially disturb people during Thanksgiving, during Christmas, New Year's, and it can just be a really kind of sore point for people. And this is totally understandable. I mean, everyone has different ideals, different philosophies, and people have to understand that it's complicated. Okay, so firstly, a lot of guys are in a position like myself currently, where we are basically stuck in the countries that we're in at the moment because there's a lot of restriction on travel, and there could potentially be a lot of complication if we were to travel and try to come back, even with proper documents and everything. So I think a lot of guys out there that are living abroad are either forced to or have simply decided to remain in the country during the holiday season, perhaps unlike before where they would have chosen to travel during Thanksgiving or Christmas time to visit family and or friends. So for a lot of guys this year, this isn't even going to be a big issue if they're living abroad and they're living by themselves or whatever it is. But for other guys, it would be an issue, and this could be a bit of a troubling topic to discuss with people that you're with, whether it's family and or a friend. And I also understand that it's very lonely often to be by yourself during the holiday season, whether it's Christmas, Thanksgiving. I have certainly spent these holidays alone by myself, and it's just not the same, honestly. And for me also, I love parties. I love festivals. If anyone knows me, they know I'm the first guy. I will go to a party and enjoy myself. I mean, I still think that parties are, I think they're about the experience at the end of the day. And I still think that you should find ways to enjoy yourself and mingle with people and chat with them. There are certainly people that don't at all concur with your ideal, concur with your philosophy on life. And MGTOW may be one of these things that people just don't really agree with you upon, especially if you're going into an environment or ambience where you're around a lot of family and friends, and these people are married or they have long-term partners. They're either happy or unhappy. In either context, there may be problems when you start bringing this up, especially if you're, say, discussing it with the said cousin or said brother or even a friend, and this person is married and with their wife and potentially has children. This could be kind of a difficult topic to bring up. And for this reason, I honestly would only bring this up if it gets brought up. If people ask you about, well, why are you single? Why are you not with someone? It may get brought up. Now, understand, more recently, I think people in many countries realize that many guys are single through a more mature age than ever before right now. And so this may not be actually as much of an issue with people, but for people that are, say, over 40, family or friends that are with you, they may ask you, inquire about this. And you can honestly state what you believe. You can say why you're in this situation. You don't necessarily need to delve into the MGTOW philosophy and why you believe this unless someone inquires. If someone inquires, you can go into this topic. But if you do, I would probably stick to a one-on-one situation. Like if it's brought up at the table by someone who's very curious, you could cover it briefly and then later on just tell the guy, we'll discuss this a bit more when we're just alone or something. This would probably be a better way to approach it, just because you would avoid any problems here. Because unfortunately, it can kind of hurt the environment and people may get kind of disturbed, honestly. I come from a family where we have very different ideals on areas of life, including politics, on the impact of the government on parts of life, and on other things. But fortunately, we're able to have civil discussion, and honestly, it's not actually brought up so often. When I have been with my family or friends, I usually don't really go too deep into this topic because I can just enjoy being in an ambiance, and I don't really need to discuss this. It's like as simple as that. But no question, I have been in places and situations where at like parties and it's brought up. And one thing I would caution guys also, if you have like a drinking problem like with alcohol, because I have encountered this often, especially being in Eastern Europe, some guys, it tends to bring out a very bitter and kind of raging version of themselves, especially if they have very like negative ideals on relationships. They have maybe negative experience with an ex-spouse or with an ex-girlfriend, whatever it is. I would be very careful with how much you drank and the substances that you consume, because this could definitely bring out a worse version of yourself. And this is also one of the reasons why, if there is a lot of drinking that's happening, you may be better off not really delving too much into this, because sometimes your emotions can come out in a really rage-like manner if you're discussing topics that bother you personally and that just really make you bitter, whereas you could be discussing some other topic of life and feel and not have this issue, even if you're very well intoxicated. And that's something to keep in mind here, because I have witnessed this often, or even in the US, where everything seemed fine and then something gets brought up of this nature and total chaos ensues, and this can be an issue. But you obviously are there to enjoy your time with these people. The other thing is that for people that are alone during this holiday season, this is another class of guys that may feel very lonely, especially with this whole epidemic situation. Don't feel bad. I mean, feel excited about life. If you can, try meet with some friends in your area and see if these guys want to spend like Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's together. I myself, fortunately, do have a couple friends I'll be spending Christmas with here in Estonia, and just see what these guys, if anyone is available, because I know that for some guys too, or even guys that are at home that are not close to family, or that they simply don't have any family around them, it can be very lonely, I think, for us MGTOW guys, and you have to kind of try make the most of it and try to be positive, because I think often it's very well broadcasted by media and by entertainment that, if you're by yourself during this holiday time, you don't have anyone nearby, it's like you kind of feel left out, I think, and especially when we get around like New Year's time, this is so common, this theme. But chances are you can find someone and make the most of it. One thing also is that if you're a MGTOW guy, sometimes people aren't as pessimistic about this philosophy if you don't exactly talk about it. I mean, I think there's also situations where you may be like the cool uncle or cool brother, and people want to have you around. They know that you're single, and they may enjoy having your company, especially during holidays. Just enjoy your time with these people, or if it's friends. And if you just demonstrate through your actions, like if you're just having a good time and people are enjoying your company around you, it really will set kind of a positive image for yourself, and people will probably start noticing, okay, these guys, they can be very cool guys to be around, even though they're single or they're just in these short-term relationships. They kind of follow this MGTOW philosophy, and someone may inquire, wow, you're single and you're still very pleasant and awesome to be around, and people may inquire, like, what's kind of your tricks or whatever. And I mean, you can kind of then explain to them what, like, your perception on life. This is, I think, another fine way to approach it, because you'll have kind of these situations and places where you can do this, and you also may have more fun also just being single, honestly, during the holiday season. You may actually be able to go to more parties, or you obviously don't have like any wife or any long-term partner to please, and you don't have to follow their schedule. Or perhaps you're the kind of person that simply doesn't want to be at like those holiday parties and just prefers to be drinking a scotch at home or out at the shooting range or something. You might just prefer totally on your own. There, of course, in this situation, it's a win-win during the holidays because you'll probably have more time to yourself and you'll have some time off work. But it's really up to a guy at the end of the day. Now, if you do get into a dispute with people, if you have certain sister or mom or cousin, friend that has this very girl power mindset, we might say. In this situation, honestly, what I would do if this gets heated and there's a lot of people around, it's up to you, firstly. But myself, and my experiences with family and friends, especially with family, is first I would try to diffuse it. I would just try to stop it from like totally exploding, because unfortunately, this is actually often the way that the least impactful way to influence people in a positive way and to maintain good relationships. If needed, just simply walk away. I mean, just stand up and walk away. Even if you don't smoke, just tell people you're gonna go have a cigarette or something, because it'll probably just be better. People can cool down and everything should be all right. At the end of the day, enjoy your holidays and just make the most of it. Don't worry so much what people think. So give me your feedback and thank you.